Okay. Shoot, I just dropped. Ah, I usually don't like ebooks, but I had no choice. I am a series person. I like series, and I read in sequential order. That's just the way I am. And if you're watching Stephanie Lawrence, if you watch any of my JD Robs, I do the in between books too. So with this series, it's a short series, so I'm doing the in between books. And because completely forgotten about, I don't know what happened last year, but I completely forgot about this series. I really, really wanted to continue reading the series. And I said that at the end of the video, and I'll put a link in the description to the original video. So I had to go back and watch the original video to catch up myself on what was going on with the series, because I can't believe I forgot. I went and read the other one, but I didn't read this one. So this is a 7. Is it in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A 7-book series. However, there's a book 1.5, there's a 2.5, and a 3.5. So technically, there's halves. So I am reading all the halves, and this is one of the halves. But because it had been a long time, over a year, I think it was 2024, because like I said, I had totally intended to continue reading the series, but for whatever reason, it got slipped through the cracks. So I'm back to it now. I'm gonna finish it the next couple days. So look for the videos every single day. They're gonna come sequentially. I'm just gonna go through it. I'm gonna binge read it. So anyways, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, K-R-S-T-I-N-A. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy stuff going on there. And I should have mentioned this one if I had remembered about it. But I did mention the author, though, in the if-then thing a few weeks ago. So please definitely go check out all my if-thens. So anyways, if you're gonna do an ebook, I recommend this doohickey, because then you can just sit, and even if you're in bed, I mean, you can put this on the table and read it, but you can sit in bed, and it will hold this block up, so you don't have to hold it. It works just fine, plumped up in a bunch of quilts. So anyways, I'm gonna put the picture up here because I know this sucks at pictures. But this is an in-between book, and there really isn't much in it. It's only 100 pages. But like I said, because and if you haven't seen the other video, and if you haven't read the book, spoilers, huge, massive spoilers right now. Huge, major. Because I had forgotten about it, and I watched my video, and I got the gist of the story and remembered some stuff that had happened. But I went back to this one and caught myself up on the last chapter. She was attempting to get back to William. Now he's in his time period, and that was, what was that? 2 centuries before her. So, and that's a little thing that's gonna bug me. We're gonna have to see what happens in the next book, A Twist of Fate. But in the ball gowns, and this is what we're doing. We're doing ball gowns and butterflies. In that book, in this book that we're going to be talking about today, William and he wants to be in his time. and she wants to be in her time. And they've agreed to go back and forth, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I just wanted to refresh my memory. Oh, and this Ball Gowns and Butterflies starts the same way as this one. She's returning to the manor. She's inherited it, and she's returning to see what it is. She's never been there before. In Ball Gowns and Butterflies, she's returning. She had gone back to the university to finish out her teaching contract, and now she's returning. She's gone on maternity leave, and such forth. So I wanted to read the last chapter first to just refresh our little memory. I can't get back to William. I've tried and tried, and I've tried. A month has passed, and the only thing that's changed is that I spend less than half my waking hours trying to return. The ghosts are gone. Eliza Stanbury no longer walks my halls. Teddy Wakefield no longer slips from my closet. Some shameful corner of my soul wishes I'd never set their spirits free. Wishes I'd left them in limbo if it meant that passage stayed open. Yet even that's pointless. If I hadn't stopped Cordelia, she'd have killed me and then taken her brother. I don't allow myself to think that William is dead and gone in my time. He's alive in his, and that's what matters. He pens me notes, avalanche first, whereupon we devise a code for communication. To ask a question, he places 2 coins in a box. If I take them both, the answer is yes, one is no. We've tried more complicated systems, but they fail. So we're left with this. I can only remove or leave what he offers. He knows I am desperately trying to return, so he writes and leaves me pouches of coins and pretends this is temporary. When autumn comes, he knows I must return to school, and so he'll wait for how long I don't know. And then she discovers she's with child. And then she's thinking about the past, and she's thinking about William, and she's going through morning sickness, and then she sees Harold Shaw, and Harold Shaw is the guy that killed Cordelia to defend Bronwyn and William. So she has to set him free so he can go on to the next world or timeline or heaven or hell, whatever you want to say. To name you as her killer so you can be free. He shakes his head. Thank you for showing me this. And he had shown her the trunk with Cordelia's stuff in it. And she says, I name you Harold Shaw as the man who took the life of Cordelia Thorne to protect the lives of others. And he moves on. And once he moves on, William is able to come to her timeline. And she sees him. I was in your office, and then the room changed entirely. It was most disconcerting. Then I realized it was your bedroom, which was a far more pleasant surprise. I went to the window and saw you returning from a walk. I came down the stairs, and I had a devil of time unlocking the front door. By the time I did, you were speeding off in this beast. It's a car. I imagine that. I believe, however, I will stick with horses. Are there any stalls in here? I've stopped crying. I can't help but I cry and I hug him and he holds me and he kisses me. No matter, I will simply need to build a new barn. You may want to start with a nursery, I say. He gives me a blank look until I set his hand on my belly and his eyes. Good news, I hope? Of course, the best. So they go through some of that and he decides well, then there's one thing to be done. We must postpone plans for both the nursery and a new barn, as we have a wedding to plan before your belly begins to grow. That is the most romantic proposal I've ever heard. You're a widow. It's really more of a practical arrangement. I sock him in the arm when a sound comes from the house. We look to see Pandora holding Anjima in her mouth, meowing around the kitten. She's telling you she's found her kitten, I say, and you can all go home now. She can if she likes. She can go, and then she can return. That is the way open for us all. So they've discovered that they can go back and forth between the 2 time worlds at their own free will. So then we get to Ball Gowns and Butterflies. And there's really not much to this. Like I said, it's 100 pages. And like I said, that William wants her in. There's something on here. William wants her in his timeline. He is more comfortable in his timeline. She is more comfortable in her timeline. She doesn't want to go back to his place. She's tired. She's traveled a long distance to get home. She goes into a house. She wants to just throw something in the microwave and have a meal and get into a nice warm bed with electric heating, electric blankets, all of modern conveniences. And all he wants to do is take her back to his time. And he takes her to the whole time she just wants to go to bed. She's really tired. She's exhausted. And he's so excited to have her back. He can't wait to do all these different things. He shows her to uh he talks about stuff doing to the house and building the horses and stables and all that kind of stuff. And he wants her to attend the festival Pentecostal Rapscallions and the Yuletide Ball at Courtney Hall. And she worries. Mary wants to. Mary is a servant, and Mary wants to avoid. Let me see if I can find this now. I am terrible at this Kindle stuff. I am learning how to do this Kindle stuff. But she calls it now in Back to the Future. The space in Doc Brown is primarily concerned about disrupting the space-time continuum. He frequently emphasizes the potential for catastrophic consequences if Marty's actions in the past alter the future. The ripple effect. This refers to the idea that even small changes in the past could have a massive, unpredictable consequences on the future. He initially believes the timeline is fragile and that any alterations could be disastrous, potentially erasing Marty's existence. So, she is worried about. She calls it in here. If I can get this to. I'm not very good at this. She calls it the butterfly effect. That's why it's called Butterfly and ball gowns, because she's going to a couple of balls and she really doesn't want to go, but William is so excited to show her to people that she actually exists. So the chaos theory. Let's see. I can find it now. The butterfly effect. No, I can't find it. It's one of those sciencey things. It's a physics sciencey thing. I ask when William comes in as if I'm asking him to roll a boulder uphill and not talk about the subject. Enjoys as much as William likes talking about horses. When it comes to time travel, many theoretical physicists disagree with the so-called butterfly effect. They believe it's ridiculous to call one small action could disrupt their future that has in the time already taking place. According to them, the universe would heal itself. How? Any change I make here must ripple through time, must it? That makes the universe seem awful fragile thing. The butterfly effect is a Hollywood gimmick, a constraint to place on time travel stories, raising the stakes, all that nonsense, but those right to live in a world where they don't know time travel exists. If it does, which we know, the results cannot be catastrophic. That presumes, of course, the time is linear, or that any world exists in the timeline as yours. I did check once when I feared I would never get back to William, and learned that he had died in his 90s and had never married. And she wonders if she checks again, will the circumstances be different? And one of the ladies' maids, Mary, asks her for a position. Her father has said she can either go marry this guy who has 5 children, who needs a nanny for his kids, or she can go work on the farm, but she needs to earn a living. So Mary wants to come work for Bronwyn, but Bronwyn's afraid because Bronwyn didn't exist in the original timeline. If by giving Mary a position with her, maybe Mary went to the farm and met the farmer's son and married and had a happy life, or maybe she was, something with the other guy. So Bronwyn is working on this, her brain, and then William takes her to the Christmas party, and the 2 brothers, one likes her, one doesn't. The one that doesn't, she catches the brother trying to force himself onto a maid. So they handle that situation. And then she ponders this thing in her head. Well, what if that was supposed to have happened? Situation. But, and I think most of us would agree in the female persuasion that if you have the ability to time travel between time A and time B, and you're with child, you want time B 6 ways to Sunday, epidurals and drugs and Tylenol and all that kind of good stuff. You don't want Largrum way back when. So, that's basically the story. They're just spending Christmas together, and they're trying to discuss names. And she's had a sonogram, so she knows the sex of her baby. And since she knows for an absolute fact that it is a girl, William gets himself a little bit in trouble and wagers with the other men in his life that it's a girl. So I was wondering if there's going to be any consequences. So, we'll have to find out tomorrow if there's any consequences in here. So we're going to go from here. We're going to read them in order. So this is the Butterflies and Ball Gowns, or Ball Gowns and Butterflies, is book 1.5. And then we're going to read Twist of Fate tomorrow. Then we will read Snowstorms and Sleigh Bells. I guess it's another Christmas in between. Then A Turn of the Tide, Ghost and Garlands, and then A Castle in the Air. I think we have read all of the Rip Through Time series. I need to double check, but I'm pretty sure we've read all of those. But I'm going to double check. And we've done the Havens Rock, which we're waiting for. So we're really doing a lot of Kelly Armstrong lately. So, Ball Gowns and Butterflies. See how it goes. Have a good one. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I could really use the likes and subscribe. There's another channel, and I have no idea. I didn't even know it was possible. First off. But one of the other channels, oh, he's definitely monetized too, so maybe that's why. I have no idea. But he actually puts a box, and a chat box. Well, not a chat box. So one of those, if you want to ask people's opinions on something, he actually puts this other box below his chat box, asking for likes. I think that it's okay to ask. And he asks quite often, verbally, during his videos and stuff like that, which is fine. Everybody does it. But sometimes he goes a little overboard with the asking for the likes. But to have that little extra box there, have you hit the likes yet? Yes. No, but I'll do that right now. It's like, what? I've never seen that. In all the videos I've ever seen, the gazillions of videos, that's the first time I've ever seen them. So, we'll see what happens tomorrow with, A Twist of Fate. Have a good one.